for this insightful conference. I start with an introduction. I'm Rihan. I'm one of the organizers for Google Developer Groups across Lebanon. Who we are? We are local communities supported by Google for developers. In Lebanon, there are two chapters for as professional GDG, South Lebanon and North Lebanon. South Lebanon here in Beirut and North Lebanon in Tripoli. And we have as well the GDG on campus chapters all over the universities in Lebanon. One of them is the GDG on campus AUB, which is who is also co-organizing this conference. Our community events as the GDG across Lebanon. That fast, our favorite conference and one of the biggest conference that we do. Google I Extended and Beirut AI. This is our photo just last year in the same auditorium. So it's super cool. Gratefully, we have 5,000 members all around Lebanon. We have started since 2017 through different organizers, and here we are completing and continuing. Back to Lebanon in 2024. كانت فترة صعبة بيننا كلنا. I'm so grateful and we are so grateful that we are here today again, organizing on-site events and completing and continuing our work and continuing our learning. As الحرب علمتنا كثير دروس بس one of the main lessons that I personally learned and our community learned is the power and the importance of a supportive community. And this is just shows how it is important. I know through community we can grow, we can learn, and we can support each other. Our regards and our prayers for what happened for 2024. And we are so grateful that we didn't stop, and here we are again. Actually, you all didn't stop. One of the exciting announcements in our today's Build with AR that we're continuing the Build with AR campaign to a hackathon being supported directly by Blackbox.ai. And you can scan the QR code to show your interest in joining the hackathon. It will be on May 24th here at the UD as well. Scan the QR code and we will share with you the details later. Okay, good. So we're back on in September, exactly September 20 for the FAST 2025 at LAU. Why we are here because our goal is to build an engaging and inclusive community and a platform for developers, students, companies, and startups to come together in the Lebanese tech community and to support each other. Today, and we are here, it was a collective work between a lot of speakers, sponsors, and partners. We are proudly want to thank everyone who worked a lot so that we are able to make this conference. We want to thank our sponsors, Blackbox.ai, Support for Charity and Co, and Pixar, as well as our partners, Hamilton Academy, The Collective, which will tell you more about it, Alumni, Entry Google for Developers, JetBrains, Kinsa Barista, and Jelly Media. Thank you to our main supporter, Google for Developers, as it is where we get our main resources, our main budget, and our the main platform. Thank you to our co-organizers, davilab.org, represented by Hassan Fataya and Sam. The SCLEU Vivlos, represented by Joshua Sar, and Google Developer Group on Campus AUB, represented by Muhammad Nasif. It is through our co-organizers who you can find that 20 volunteers down who are helping you with the batches will be helping with all the logistics of this event, before the event, and during the event, after the event. So a big applause to our co-organizers as well. And again, thank our sponsor, Blackbox.ai, Charity and Co, Lixa, Supportful, and for our partners. During the coffee breaks and also during the talks, you'll be able to connect with all these sponsors and partners and to learn more about their companies. Thank you to our food and beverage partners, Barista and Kinsa, for supporting us. And we want to highlight one of the initiatives that we recently joined. It is the collective represented by Chris and Huri, join us on stage and tell us more about it.
اوكي صباحو كيفنا؟ تمام؟ شو وضع الحماس؟ بعد شوي اكثر؟ اوكي نهار السبت جايز كلنا واعيين نهار السبت الصبح بكير ماشي الحال هيك بس بيعونا اياها يعني حياتنا. اول شيء شكر خاص كثير 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 لجي دي جي، جي دي سي، كل الجوجل ديفلوبر جروبس اللي موجودين معنا اليوم، يعني صراحه هذا الشغل وهذا الايفنت ما كان صار لو ما تعب بيتعبوا الشباب والصبايا فيعطيكم الف عافيه، ثانك يو، وفي عالم ريموت عم يساعدونا كمان، فهذا الايفنت ما كان صار له هالشيء. بدي اخذ بس دقيقتين من وقتكم to introduce the collective. It's not about the collective actually, it's about the community itself. من كم سنه لورا وقت بلشت مش بلشت يعني وقت تفاقمت الازمات تبع لبنان والديفلوبرز بلبنان والسينيورز كلهم سوا حملوا حالهم وخلوا وصلنا لمرحله ما عارفين حالنا شو عم نعمل، لا امبلويرز عارفين شو عم يعملوا ولا الديفلوبرز يعني عارفين حالهم شو عم يعملوا ولا الكوميونيتيز حتى كثير عم يقدروا يقلوا. سو كان يبقى دائما في هيك some initiatives here and there trying to do something, trying to keep هيدا الجمره تبع الكوميونتي واقعه تحت الرماد كله سوا، بس ما كان في قصص عم تقلع. ولاحظت بمحل معين انه ثلاث ارباعنا على نفس المشاكل، ثلاث ارباعنا على نفس الحلول، ومشكلتنا الاساسيه بلبنان دائما بقولها هي لا هي طائفيه ولا سياسيه، هي مشكله كلتشر. في عندنا مشكله مايند سيت، مشكله كلتشر هو اللي لازم نحله. الكل is in competition, everybody is not cooperating with each other، وهون كانت الخبريه كثير مش ماشيه حالها. سو جينا قعدنا مع بعض the leaders in the community وقلنا لحالنا وقلنا لبعض what can we do better؟ اذا كل مره بدنا ننطر حكومه او سياسه او NGO او UN او اذا they put the plug على USAID ولا they didn't put the plug على USAID او كل الوقت بالهيستوري تبعنا ونحن قاعدين ناطرين شو هي السيركمستانس، شو هي السيتويشن اللي رح تشيلنا من وين نحن هلا. فقلنا لبعض هول ال 20 شخص تقريبا بيجتمعوا بين اول شيء سبورت في الهادي يعطيك العافيه ثانك يو فور ذات، جي دي جي، ذا لاب، اس اي فاكتوري، ما بدي انسى حدا، حتى في عندنا اكاديميكس بالجامعات موجودين معنا، ما بدي انسى حدا، بس the whole point of the collective is to genuinely collect every mastermind موجود هون بلبنان، نقعد مع بعض on one round table, put our personal agendas aside, put our egos aside، ونفكر بيننا وبين حالنا وبين بعض شو عايزه هيك الكوميونتي وشو قادرين نلبي معنا، نلبيها فيه. So انخلقت الكولكتيف على هذا الاساس وحاليا عم نشتغل على ثلاثه verticals. We have the first and most important vertical, it's the data collection and release vertical. شو يعني؟ نحن بلبنان ما عندنا داتا، ما بنعرف شيء، ما بنعرف كم شخص تخرج، ما بنعرف كم شخص توظف، ما بنعرف demographics، ما عندنا شيء ابدا. So هيدا الكولكتيف شغلتها تتواصل مع كل المعنيين تجرب تجمع هيدا الداتا and release it back to the public. هيدا اهم شيء بالموضوع. بدنا كل واحد فينا كل واحد فيكم يكون عنده access على هيدا الداتا تيقدر ياخذ قراراته بطريقه اوضح. ثاني شغله عم نشتغل عليها هي الابسكيلينج. When it comes to upskilling من اي منطلق كل شيء عم يتغير بشكل كثير سريع. قد ما فيكم انتم والجامعات والبوت كامبس you're trying to keep up as well. بس individual effort is one thing and collective effort is another thing. So شغله الابسكيلينج تاسك فورس اللي خلقناها هي تساعد الكوميونتي بقدر المستطاع لنخلق a national curriculum on how to be a genuine, good, future-proof software developer. وثالث تاسك فورس بلشنا فيها اذا قدرت اخر السنه بيكون في عندنا نتائج لهذا الموضوع هو كوميونتي اكسبانشن. كل الايفنتس وكل الكوميونيتيز وكل الانشيتيفز اللي بتصير ببيروت وجبل لبنان. في عندنا كثير مناطق برات هذه المنطقه، كثير حلوين المناطق، كثير فيهم عالم رائع وعليهم القدر والقيمه، بس ما حدا عم يطلع فيهم. فشغله الكولكتيف كمان تعمل بقدر المستطاع قد ما نحن قادرين باوقاتنا نروح نفتح كمان كوميونيتيز خاصه بالسوفت وير وخارج السوفت وير بالمناطق اللي ما حدا عم يطلع فيها. إن كانت طرابلس، البقاع، عكار، الجنوب، كل هول المناطق ما بدي انسى ولا منطقة، بس جروسو مودو وصلنا لمرحلة إنه we either need to take things into our own hands، نشوف نحن كيف بدنا نحل أمورنا، كيف كان عن جد فعليا بدنا نتحد كلنا سوا، تنقرب هيدا الكوميونتي لقدام مش نرجعها لورا، and this is the purpose of the collective. Thank you so much for coming here, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Chris, for sharing about the collective. And you can check the collective on LinkedIn as well, or reach out to Chris to tell you more about it. Before going, here's the thought. You can scan.
I'm going to scan, guys.
Okay, and before going to the panel discussion, so something that is new to one of our community events that we apply content for developers, and we as a community we're trying to support content creation. So we gathered this content creation that is a copy of the main resource from Google. It's kind of if you want to check the content creation resources. And we have as well our social media team here, Manuela and Abdel who can help you and support you if you have any question. We really encourage content creation from the beginning. We have awesome content creation with Sam, with Laura, but I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of other talents here that can share about, that you can share your knowledge or share other people's knowledge. So yeah, this is an encouragement for content creation. Before going to our awesome fun discussion, I want to share the agenda. So we are here with Akhin Shway. We have our panel discussion and then the main auditorium. And then the other talks are happening in Beirut. So that in room C here at the third floor. And then we have the workshops. Jenna in the common room, the first floor. Haisa in room A, as well as the first floor. And then we have Lara will be in the common room, and Muhammad who is joining us online in the in room A. Okay, so it's fair text. Okay, and now back to our panel discussion. I want actually to thank Dr. Ammar Muhanna. He is a lecturer here at the AUB. He has been supporting the community, the Lebanese community, since 2022. Thank you, Dr. Ammar. He has been there for us as a mentor and a speaker in almost every event. He's moderating our panel discussion today. I want to thank our awesome speakers, Joe Haddad, Lara Wahdi, and Muhammad Al-Tari for sharing your knowledge. We were expecting a GDE coming from Bahrain, but he couldn't make it in person. So let's start with our panel discussion. Thank you.
So welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And I think this is a great opportunity to reflect again, as Reham was saying. Having passed through these hard times wasn't something that's simple. Usually society takes years and years to recover. We are already recovering and we are back here. So now that said, I would like to introduce our guest speakers today, our panelists, Jo Haddad, Lara, and Muhammad Aitawi. I think it would be nice if you could, every one of you, introduce yourself in your own way with the reflection to the topic. So basically, our topic here is emerging agentic workflows. Mind the buzzwords. The idea is there are these agents that basically uses LLMs, and we want to explore what's not possible and what are the limitations. It would be great if you could introduce yourselves with respect to that topic. Ladies first, Lara.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama. Thank you everyone for attending. So this is Lara Wahdi. I have around 6 years of experience in AI. First, I specialized in NLP, and I'd say traditional NLP, which is before large language models. So I had the chance to witness this change and evolution from natural language processing without large language models, and then jumping into large language models and into the AI agentic design. Since the emergence of agentic design and agentic workflows, I've been working with them since day one. So I'd be happy to share with you today my perspective and all my experience, the hands-on experience, alongside with the real use cases that we witnessed together, hoping to be able to make the things more clearer from real use cases in the work field. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you for having us. My name is Jo Haddad, and I'm one of the founding engineers from Gaia, which is an insurtech startup based in the US. And I also consult on the side with other startups. My experience also goes back a few years. I also joined before the whole AI hype. I also started working on NLP just like Lara, and then since LLMs came out, we've been working closely with this technology. On the field of agents, I think a slightly more pessimistic review, even though it's been incredibly useful both at Gaia and other startups. We've used agents in different contexts, whether it's web agents, agentic document extraction, whether it's voice agents. So my experience spans quite a few applications, and I'd be glad to share that with you today. Thank you.
Hi, Muhammad Aita, a senior software engineer, 8 years of experience, currently a tech lead at Idris. Mainly I've been working in the e-commerce sector, and mostly I'm related to this topic because I've been before AI in the e-commerce sectors, how we talk to people, how we communicate, treat issue, even adding data. And currently I'm leading the adoption of AI in this sector, mainly from tagging for information and even getting info, requesting, suggesting data, talking to client. So mainly I'm into how we adapt into a real use case of this.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Maybe we start with an informal definition of agentics and agents and LLMs. We're gonna use Lara's social media skills to give us a concise summary of what are these, just to set up the ground for discussion.
Okay, so agents are AI solutions that can handle your process or your workflow that you want to do from A to Z, handling the automation that was previously done through triggers or specific data-driven events, but today it is more robust, it is more, at some point reliable, and remember at some point, because we will discuss this in a bit, reliable in order to handle unexpected use cases or unexpected interferences at some point. So in a nutshell, an agent or AI agent, it is an AI solution, consider it as a black model, that can do one specific task for you with minimal intervention from your end and more expected automation and outputs.
How would that differ from an LLM, Joe?
So really agents are a way to orchestrate LLM calls, right? So it's either one or a bunch of LLMs that have access to different things, such as whether it's tools, memory, planning abilities. So agents are just really LLMs with more capabilities.
Like automated use of LLMs. For example, we have a function in software development, it does something. Choosing when to access this function in a kind of a smart way, or like at certain specific points in time, is now the role of the LLM. And since we don't have a specific trigger that triggers the use of the function, it's an agent. Can you say that?
And further context, yes, definitely. So agents, what's nice about them is that, again, in different applications, they can be doing very different things.
Okay, Muhammad, we need your perspective on the software here. So, like back then in the days, we had a problem in miscommunication between like different API providers. So we came up with RESTful. It was a way to modularize our communication protocols. We have seen MCP lately, which is not rocket science, it's basically just a method to communicate. Do you see a trend in this trajectory?
That's a good question, honestly. Mainly if we go back a little bit in history to see how it started by a normal solution, regardless of the normal software, and then we had multiple people develop this software. Then we reached a place where we need to communicate with this. And then multiple ways of communication are introduced, from REST to having protocol in between them. Then we start securing all this system. Now we have multiple agents that are acting like a small worker. Oh, let's give it a small example. If you are in a kitchen, there's someone who gives an order, someone who wants to cook, and all this. So you need some kind of way of communicating. And this comes from the need of it. It doesn't come from the luxury. So we should. And then when it comes to industry, everyone wants to make it for themselves alone. So they don't want to communicate, to stay priority. Everything, it's like, for example, to Apple, to Microsoft, they want this. But with all this adoption, we need to communicate. So we reach a place where we need a standard. So it becomes a must. So we need it. And here comes NCP, as you might. Maybe I believe they will change it. Maybe we turn to the normal cycle we had previously. So we will have an introduction with streams, all these actions. So I believe we are returning in the first stage of when we reach the API in the first place. So maybe this will be the case. It's important to mention we are in the early stage. So even with all this AI we are seeing around the world, we are still in the early stage. So still.
Cool. So that's a nice insight there. So we're saying that we need a communication protocol for softwares and tools to communicate with the LLMs, and we might be using multiple LLMs at a time. That's absolutely great. Agents can do amazing work these days. Even like developing them is really fast, making a prototype is extremely fast. Whatever you think of is a software that is within our hands. Yeah, we're only a few prompts away from making the next startup, right? But having said, how do we assure the quality of an agent? Like, we know we have unit tests, we know we have integration tests and A/B tests and whatnot. And like QA people were basically the people assuring our value, like providing something that's actually reliable. How do we test these agents?
This is a really interesting question and a challenge. And I don't think we are, as Muhammad said, we are still at the early stage of exploring how these agents work, how these agents can communicate, and how we evaluate these agents. Like, as you know, for example, explainability AI. Now we can use them in order to know how or what are the features that affected the outcome of our solution. In the agentic design, we don't have something to interpret. The interpretability level of the agentic design is still lower than the traditional machine learning. Let me call it again traditional machine learning, as Chip Hoy mentioned it in some of her books. So in order to validate the solutions, we need to do a lot of A/B tests, and we need to have humans in the loop. So again, I think we are one step back of having humans in the loop one more time in order to establish an evaluation framework. Now, we've seen a lot of evaluation frameworks like DeepEval, RAGAS, or any other evaluation framework. For example, grounding the solution for a specific vector database, or another people were using LLM as a judge. So you have another large language model that acts as a judge for your own language model. So if your own language model is biased and the judge is biased, then the QA is bullshit, sorry. It's really nothing. Yeah. So this is a challenge. I don't think we are there yet to say that we can 100% evaluate our agent that works correctly. The uncertainty is higher than before, and the challenge is higher than before.
Joe, I have a question for you, since you're hands-on developing these days. There's this definition by Anthropic that I really like. It's like the distinguishment between workflows and agents. So basically, a workflow is whenever you have a really well-defined pipeline to follow. For example, in order to book a hotel room, I need to validate your credit card, I need to make sure the room is clear for the days you want to book, and then I make the API call to book the room. So these three API calls are static, they are definitive, there's no way that we change them at any moment in time, and that's a workflow. On the other hand, an agent is whenever, for example, if I ask now, Perplexity, for example, it has an auto method to choose the model. So if I ask it a really simple question, it's just going to use one agent code. If I ask it a very detailed question, it's going to use like 10 tasks of agent code. So would that be an agent, and that would be a workflow? Do we actually have agents in production these days, or are they like workflows acting as agents? I've actually implemented many workflows acting as agents because the clients want that. But what do we have? What's the scene like?
And that's a great point. And actually, for those familiar with YC, you're one of the most exclusive venture capitalists these days. And you have no idea how many times we've jumped on calls with these guys, expecting full-on agentic workflows, and in the back it's either a regular workflow or literally some people doing this manually. So you'd be surprised by what you see. There are certain instances where you have some margin of error and where agents are okay to use, right? But yeah, it's a mix of both. We have some relatively, you could call it an agentic workflow, but it's not like, okay, you have full control of the agent. It's like the agent takes one step, you validate it somewhat deterministically, you send it to the next step, you have fallbacks every step, and you keep on going until you reach that. But this is usually for workflows that expect like a certain output, whether it's structured data extraction, filling forms, doing stuff like this. For conversational agents, you might have a bit more leeway because what's the worst case scenario? If you ask another question, that's fine, right?
So they don't perform any action eventually, right? They don't book a room.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as long as you're not losing money or anything, then it's probably fine to have some errors. But then in the fields I'm working, which are insurance and finance, don't really have this much leeway. So everything has to be rechecked, revalidated, either by another LLM, then by a deterministic validator or whatever. But, it's very tricky. Right? You can't just let them run loose, especially when either money is at stake or whatever the stakes are, basically.
So again, I'm all skeptical here, right? Guys, agents are everywhere. Everyone is promoting agents. We want to talk about the things that are not being addressed online, right? I'm not like the line of questioning makes you feel maybe that I'm doubting the capabilities of agent. I'm not doing that. I'm just looking at the possible bad side. Now talking about the possible bad side, like. You said that things are being developed, things are being standardized as we speak, things are going really fast. What's at stake? Like, if we don't pull the unification of communication protocols off, what could go wrong on the long term? Like in software, we reached to RESTful, for example, as a solution for a major problem back then, and everyone needs to reorganize their code and refactor to get there. What could go wrong with agents? Could we get into the bubble burst because we didn't do this unification?
Let me ask this a more simple question. If you get an accident in car, who you want to blame who? So if you have multiple agents, if there's someone who gives you the forecast of the weather, and then there's an agent who tell you what's around you, and there's an agent that tell you how to drive, or even a more easy one, an agent that they told you what's the speed limit, and then you get a ticket, and this is speed limit agent give you a wrong, communicated in a wrong way, let's say, or your agent didn't understand what was, and then we start hallucination, by example. And you put whatever they want as a value, and then you go high speed. It's beautiful to be to go in full speed. Like I would like it, but when you get a ticket, who wants to pay it?
Yet these risks exist whether you have MCP or you don't. Like they are there anyway. I'm discussing maybe the possibility of the problem with the communication protocol itself. Not having a unified communication protocol, what could that cause? Like, what would be the limit, like the absolute limit of the problem?
The absolute is two agents that can communicate precisely as simple as that. Like, I even not just other. Like, you speak Spanish, I speak Arabic. So how we can communicate?
Which might be biased, and therefore we would like augment our bias from B to B squared and then B cubed every time we.
We blame the LLM to be biased. It's not us.
So let's say we have now specialized agents. For example, when we teach our students in class about machine learning, we tell them about EDA, right?
Yeah.
So it would be nice to have an agent that does like automatic data cleaning and exploration. You give it, you index it to your data. You just tell it where my data is, and it does give you a report out of it, right? It takes some time and gives you a report. What would be the thought process that gets you step by step into developing this kind of agent?
Okay, if I understood you right, it's something like the data prep agent inside the GCP, right?
Maybe, yeah, sure. I'm thinking more of a report, right? Like a business report as a result.
Okay, like a business report. You need the different agents for this specific use case, for example. One of them to understand the data, and then to give instructions for other agents to clean the data, for other agents to do dimensionality reduction, and so on and so on. So this is the thought process that you can control. Now the thought process, this is the best use case. And it looks like it is in the ideal use case. Nothing would go wrong. Whereas the outputs are indeterminate, they are not deterministic. So So this thought process will require us a lot of other agents to validate from other agents in the loop. So I think at the current time, we will still need at least one human in the loop to get the final touches before we just try to generate it.
Maybe we get into a bit more technicalities here.
Okay.
How do we, like, one of the students here attending or from the audience actually wants to build that?
Okay.
What would he ask as a question first? How could he technically start pulling it
What
off?
framework should I use?
For example, what are the data modalities?
Yeah. What are the data? What framework should I use? Should I save the data and database or keep it in memory? Or so on and so on. Now, speaking about frameworks, I'm not sure if this is out of the scope of the question, but the framework speaks specifically in the AI agentic design is still a big mess, in my own opinion. Because each now and then you see new framework, LangChain and Ebola and something called ELIZA and a lot of frameworks through AI, for example. So one student would come, and I've heard this a lot, that which framework should I use? Or if they found a new framework on Twitter or X, Twitter format, they come to me and say, let's try this one, I'm 100% sure this is going to be better. Whereas it's not. So we should focus on the functionality, on the modularity of the solution, focusing on the objective that we need to accomplish from building the solution, and after that the technicalities will come anyway.
So, these students has a point somehow. They want to start developing and they want to start using a certain one of the 100 frameworks that are out there.
Of course, yeah.
The question is not totally valid yet, they have a point, right?
They have a point, and this is how they gain experience, because when they try to get their hands dirty with different frameworks, they will realize that it's not about the framework, it's about my critical thinking, it's about the design patterns, it's about the architecture of the solution, the agents, how they want to link them together, how they want to make them scalable, and so on and so on. So they will come to a point to realize that it's not everything I want to build, I have to use a specific framework or a famous framework. Sometimes building things from scratch or building a simple script will be more optimized by inference time, by development time.
Easier to maintain.
Exactly, and interpretable. For example, LangChain has some prompts about Russia and Ukraine inside of it, open source. And it's not interpretable at some point.
So this is great. So the question, Joe, that you would ask a junior to guide him towards finding the solution themselves. How would you start? Like you have a junior now who wants to start building this EDA agent, for example. How would you guide him towards the process of doing it? So as I understood from Lara, I would guide him to think about agentic workflow first. What are the different components that need to do such things, and then define the tools that they need, and therefore come out with a certain strategy to execute that using one or multiple of the frameworks that are out there. Could you put us on like a step-by-step basis of like this process, or if you have any other process in mind?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I'm gonna piggyback on is the idea of systems thinking, and I think this is getting increasingly important when it comes to building agents. Because again, realistically, if you work in an actual job these days, most people just use AI to code, right? So the technicalities are getting maybe less and less important as these tools become better. What's not going away anytime soon is the ability to build systems, to decompose a problem into its sub-modules and making sure every sub-module works properly on its own, right? So I would start, for example, with this EDA. I would choose, honestly, one library I like to use is LightLLM, which literally just lets you switch out the exact providers very easily. Agentic workflow sometimes, again, don't need, I wouldn't let an agent run free from start to finish. I would definitely kind of revalidate every step. So for EDA, first of all, I would ask, okay, what's the first, and what kind of data we're working with, right? Is it, we're just simply building dashboards, or are we trying to capture the features from this? Is it to train another model later on? So I'll try to understand the problem better and then break it down. First step, again, can we have an example maybe on what kind of data we're working with?
It's basically an EDA for different data sets. So basically, certainly you need an agent to digest each of the data modalities, or the time series, image, whatever. Talking about agents here, Muhammad, like what do you think that the scalability factor, like where do the scalability factors play in? Like, it's really nice to have agents, they do different jobs, they do like nice things, but like, are they scalable? can I build an agent and then repurpose parts of it for something else? Is it something that is microservice-like? Would it be modular? And maybe would MCP and other communication protocol improvement help that?
Talking about scaling, okay. Before I start scaling, and this is always because I give talks specifically about scaling live. Before I start scaling, start by implementing the solution for 1 user, for 10 users, for 1,000 users. And then we start facing the issue. Like, if you already built this system, it's already a sum, as you said, as a sum of small pillars of small model communicate, which is other. So one of them should crash. Start by this mindset. Like, why this system is crashing? There's a RAM, there's a memory that needed, that's whatever it is. So you start scaling one by one. And then here you learn how to scale them. If you want to adapt just a framework, like saying, implement this, put memory, how much, vertical scaling, auto scaling, you won't learn in life. Especially when we're talking about scaling. So you should reach an agent or reach service or microservice or whatever solution you are doing to her limit. Like, make her crash. And then by logs takes a reverse engineering pass, like why it's crashing, and then you know how to adapt for it. So this is my mindset of how I will do it. Like, instead of following a theoretical pass to do it, or saying like you should do this and this and this. Like, no, that's reach a limit. That's my mindset.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, everyone. I think it's time maybe to open the door for questions from the audience. Sure. Can someone, like, do we have questions? Who has questions?
I have 2 questions. Hi everyone, I'm Nicolas Kouri. I have 2 questions for whoever wants to answer. Okay. Okay, so I have 2 questions. The first question, I am a lecturer at AU, right? And I'm sure that you guys have seen a lot of students and you are dealing with students, and we have students here. Today, with the accessibility of technology and computing power and everything, which wasn't accessible for me 10 years ago, I can see that most of the students or the ecosystem doesn't really focus on understanding the foundations of whatever they are using, right? And it's something very, very important for me. I'm pretty sure if you follow me on LinkedIn or whatever, you know that I stress on having solid foundations. And now we are building systems and products and whatever without solid foundations, first of all, as a developer. And second of all, we are outsourcing a lot of decision making to the machine. How do you deal with this from a development perspective, first of all, before I switch to the second part of the question? Does that make sense or true?
I have perspective. Okay, so I'm like, you know what's vibe coding these days? You know, the idea of just like talking to the LLM and making it generate code and whatnot.
And you just press accept.
And it's pretty messy, right? Okay, so I have this strategy that might not age well. يعني whatever I'm gonna say is valid for now, but in a week from now it's not valid anymore. So it goes like this: I have a certain task in hand, and I go to like O1 Pro something with the ChatGPT, and I make a business case out of it. So what would be the business scenario that I'm trying to solve? And I ask ChatGPT, generate 50 questions for me to answer, and then generate 50 other questions for me to answer. And then it starts to get repetitive, and there would be like nuances that you wouldn't cover. Okay? Actually, if you don't ask the question, if you don't get the question to be answered, it's going to make an assumption. If you ask enough questions, you're going to have eventually a document that is filled with technical details. Once you have this document, you go to another ChatGPT section, or like a new chat, where you make the step-by-step technical implementation plan divided into 20 steps out of the document. Once you have that, go to Cursor, make a new repo, بلش تشتغل على البروجيكت. Every time you reach one of the steps, you push the code. Right? So at any step where things get messed up, what's the problem with like coding? You make, like, it's gonna make assumptions, and you're gonna have to solve multiple errors at the same time. Divide them into micro steps. Once you solve every step, you push your code, and eventually, this might not age well again. So this is how I do it from a technical perspective. انه I want to mobile coding انه انا كثير مرتاح بالموضوع. I like it.
No, but sorry, and this is nice.
You should be fair a little bit. Sorry, Nicola, but you should be a little bit fair. Like when we started learning this technology or we entered this sector, I know for myself, I start by C, C++, then going to Java, then evaluate. Unfortunately, these students right now, he's opening LinkedIn and he's seeing 20 posts about LLM, 25 about agents, so he wants to go fast. So this he's urgent to jump into this market, while and also when he's reading all these job descriptions, he's seeing also all these buzzwords everywhere. So I can understand why these students are no more focusing on basics. Unfortunately, when they will face this challenge, when even if they are able to reach a job, and they start facing issue. That's why this is almost the same logic when we start by scaling. I told you, when you start facing issue, you will start learning. My advice is, and also to be fair with the current generation, like speaking about it, like you should learn the foundation is easy for us because we had the past. Like I had, by example, 6 years where I was able to scale, go down solution, seeing a lot of bugs, getting a lot of calls from CTOs about system crashes. I got this privilege. Right now, take any of these students, maybe if we have here students, ask them what you know about data log, about logging on database, because he didn't see it. It's becoming hard, honestly, and especially since the current generation is pushing them also to go learn this, do this. So it's our responsibility, mainly Nicola, a little bit to guide them and also not entering deep in this sector. Like I believe that some paths we need to start accepting that they are gone. Like right now, how many of us even are writing an assembly code? Still, it exists for working, by example, in a company.
It's a skill that's no longer needed.
It's no longer needed. So we should accept this fact that some of these skills are no more needed. But identifying them is not that easy, honestly.
Okay, the second question is, and it's related to the first question. We are now depending more and more on technology, whether as a developer or a regular human being, right? If I want to do research, I no longer go to Google and read 20 documents and analyze through my mind. I mostly go to ChatGPT, and usually, more often than not, I will accept whatever answer they give back, regardless of if they're knowledgeable, if I should accept this as the single source of truth, right? And I see that the more we advance in years, the more we go back. We don't evolve better, you know. So
We go back in terms of
evolution, in terms of using our own brains or whatever. And my point is, when do we stop? Where is the red line of using AI in our lives? I would say already yes.
We are not in a way that's hurting us. And this reflects also back to the student or the engineer who is not reflecting back on the fundamentals. Once they get stuck in a critical use case where the false positive is really high, but the accuracy is really also high, or the precision. So we don't care about the recall and we have high accuracy, and we submit it into a medical use case, and then all the cancer diagnosed patients are critical and they're going to die. Okay, and here, because we relied only on what ChatGPT said and we didn't tap into. So this is a painful use case where we will start realizing, okay, no, we should have focused on the fundamentals and understood really what the metrics of evaluation meant and does it really mean to have a high recall or a low recall or whatever. So going back also to the decision maker that's been delegated fully to ChatGPT or DeepSeek or to this all hype, I just call it a hype actually. Whenever we start having critical outcomes, and I'm 100% sure at least 90% of the activities in this room had faced this issue and said, okay, I should have thought more. I should have focused and I should have read actually what ChatGPT said. I hope this answered the question.
I want to talk about something given up, piggyback on the idea. I think one of the biggest problems that people are facing is what we call shiny object syndrome. And the idea is realistically guys, انتوا هون كم واحد مثلا بيشوف اللينكدين بوست بتحمس يتعلم الفريم بتحمس يعمل مشاريع بتحمس to buy code a project out of nowhere, which again these things aren't necessarily wrong. But maybe one thing people aren't doing enough is kind of asking why, or why am I doing this? Do I need to do this? It's very easy to see something, do it, want stuff, you're online, you don't know what you want to do, your career shifts are dependent on whatever post you saw this week, your opinion is easily swayed. So I think this is probably the main issue we have. I personally don't think it's necessarily wrong to depend on AI for certain things. As long as you can take a step back, critically assess something, and then decide, okay, it actually makes sense to go forward. I'm one of these people that learned a lot from AI, and I've been using it for the past 2 or 3 years consistently, and definitely I've been able to upskill a lot. But this only comes if you're able to critique it back and say, okay, this makes sense, this doesn't.
I would consider my opinion not easily changeable. Yet deep research is quite convincing. And it gives you all of the reference and like 200 opinions from 200 different resources. Like however convincing and stubborn I am, 200 resources at the end of the day are quite good. Do we have other questions?
Hi, مرحبا. I'm a senior software engineer. So بالنسبة للالجوريثم، نحن كلنا تعلمنا بالجامعة data structure والالجوريثم تعبنا عليها بلسان راسنا وخلينا like 200 300 delete code question وهيك اخبار. أنا بحس إنه هذا الشيء هو اللي خلى الواحد يبلش يفكر مثل ما يفكر الكمبيوتر يعني وهالقصص. هل هذا الشيء رح يأثر على التلاميذ الجداد اللي هلا عم يتعلموا الماشين ليرنينج لقدام لحتى يطوروا الاي اي؟ لانه كل الاشخاص اللي هلا عم يشتغلوا ام ال واي اي هن اوريدي عندهم جراسب يعني قويه بالماشي. ثانك يو.
I make it brief to give the chance for anyone who wants to add, but I think here we have 2 types of AI engineers. We have the AI engineer on the application level, which is not necessarily understanding how the algorithm works and what are the outcomes of it and how to edit it inside. And we have, on the other hand, the AI researcher engineer, let me call it, or R&D AI engineer, who is the AI engineer that is also still working on the preconditions, the traditional ML, which is building blocks for large language models and data sets and so on. So it really depends on the direction that this AI engineer wants to go. And as Muhammad said, and Amar said, some skills we need to accept the fact that they will going to be out of date and we will stop using them. Not neglecting the importance of data, algorithms, and data structures, but at this point, I see that we have 2 different tracks of AI engineers.
And this is not because, right now, take any example of current technology. Let's say Python. Okay, like how many of you know how Python works or how it's compiled? But still, there's an engineer who worked at compiling this, so it will remain. And this is the same applied to our current AI. Like we will need people who work on implementing this LLM, this model, making them learn. Having a robust one with a lot of ethical checkup, all this. Still, the business doesn't care. You want money, so I want someone who answers questions. So you become an AI integrator, and still this is a good market, honestly. So it depends how the market goes. For you, choose one of them and go for it. It doesn't matter, honestly. So you will succeed in both. Don't be afraid that I should learn everything. And as long as you are understanding what you are doing. So if you are integrated, at least know the options. What are the competitor? How to do a small judging based on price, other KPIs. And if you want to go deeper and be a tech guy, see how it works and invest in it. Like learn the full cycle. The old algorithm for AI, the new one, go deep into deep learning, all this stuff. Still, you can, for example, at my work, without working directly with the LLMs, without needing to do a full learning path, I'm able to build some smart solutions that do the tagging for me, do the answering clients, all this. And still, this is an AI solution at the end of the day, but it's integrated.
I would like just to add, like the end of this is like whenever you think from like an emerging tech and then moving to another emerging tech and whatnot, just think of it. We reached a plateau in problem solving. So in traditional software engineering, okay, it solved some financials. We were able to do banking as a fully solved problem. خلاص, we don't have to do anything other with banking. But then we moved into machine learning and then it plateaued. At the end of the day, we couldn't use images and whatnot. And then we moved into deep learning and then images were pretty nice. We solved the problem of images, yet we couldn't do like text stuff. And so on and so forth. So every new tech and like moving away from the old method means most of the solutions that could be solved using that method are fulfilled. So it is not necessarily a bad thing. Yet we should keep in mind that whenever we're solving a new problem, sorting algorithm still works. It's not like we have like new methods to do recommendation systems means that sorting is not good anymore. If it makes sense. You have anything to add, Joe?
Maybe just some advice for the people from what I've been seeing. Over the past few years, I've hired for a few startups, and I've been in so many interviews, and I see now what startup founders and what people in general are looking for. And regardless of your AI skills, because I know again in UB lots of people really focus on the more academic side, which is obviously fine. But people who can build stuff are usually the ones that get hired, right? So even as an AI engineer or as a machine learning engineer, you can play on Colab as much as you want, but if you can't own products end to end and build stuff that people actually use, it's going to be a lot harder to build. So that's just one piece of advice. Be a good guy.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So we take one last question.
Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad. Okay. I just want to point out on something you discussed earlier with the doctor. For the students, we can use the latest update on Claude for the AI. They introduced something called Claude for education, I guess, where the answer isn't straightforward. Let's for example say, I want to build an API for ABC. He doesn't give the answer. He gives a similar question to the student. I want to point out that this might be a solution for the educators to force students to use this kind of AI instead of using ChatGPT. Or maybe ChatGPT and also another LLMs use this approach. Thank you.
Yeah, this is certainly a very interesting point there. Like AI in education is something that is there to happen and is there to stay. Maybe we have the time for one last question, Hassan? Yeah, last question. Anyone?
بيير مايدي فول ستاك ديفلوبر حاليا مغروم باي اي كيفك فادي حاليا مغروم باي اي انطيلي كل شغلي السؤال اللي يمكن كل حدا عم يساله انه هلا حاليا كثير مبسوطين باي اي كثير عم يسرع لنا شغلنا كثير عم يزيد من الكواليتي تبع شغلنا اكيد بعد بدنا نحط انبوت فيها بس امتى شو التايم فريم تبع انه نحن خصوصي هلا مع الايجنتنج اي اي امتى رح يصير اي اي رح يعمل كل شيء ونحن الديفلوبرز رح نرجع نطلع على الضيعه نزرع ونقعد بالبيت وكذا شو التايم فريم تبعنا لحتى اي اي يكلنا شغلنا في شيء تايم فريم وفي شيء معين نحن انه اكيد خصوصي قديش سريع عم يتطور اي اي فشيء out of our minds.
I don't think anyone has an answer to this. Basically, think of it as expanding horizons. Not necessarily, you are like being taken over. Yeah, your old tasks that were mundane and that you use like a week to do like a certain function and like to add a certain API and the method, that's no longer a thing of that you do. The ones who will survive are the ones who produce the most and the one who provides more and more value. That's basically my opinion. You're
Man, it's about money. It's literally about money. Business wants solution. If you do it with AI, you do it by yourself. If you have multiple hands and you can write quickly, it doesn't matter. As long as you are able to fulfill a market and cover a need, you will remain in the market. And the moment you start not compete, you are out. That's it.
reports on it now والكل بيحكي وهلا مثلا طلعوا AI 2027 report إذا you guys have seen it some say 2027 some say 2030 كيف حكي right I have to completely agree on the point is again whatever you do right don't always box yourself in your own say okay I'm a full stack engineer right today but then maybe in 6 months maybe in a year other things are going to be more useful I'm going to have to learn this skill or this skill but whatever you do when تكون بالشغل whatever whether it's your own company or for someone else make yourself indispensable يعني أنت خلاص people can't do without you a business whether it's your own company whatever skills you have don't do what you think you have do what needs to be done basically is what I always say regardless of what it takes design product customer work engineering so it's good to be flexible.
We'll start. Actually, we want to thank our panelists, our speakers for the insightful time discussion. And now we will start with our second talk by Lixa. Lixa is one of our sponsors for this event. And Brahim Lahouj and Adam. Brahim is the founder of Lixa, Adam is the CTO, and will share with us an insightful talk about their journey in building Lixa as founders and CTO. Thank you. Let's start.
Hello everyone, صباح الخير. I'm very happy to be here with my fellow colleagues in the tech industry, my fellow developers, people who understand the magic of tech, the magic of coding, and I hope in this presentation we'll be able to share some insights on how to transform code into a company. أنا اسمي إبراهيم دحروج. I'm the CEO of Lixa. Me and my partner, the CTO of Lixa, Adam Qadri, will be sharing some of the lessons that we have learned in our journey in Lixa. خبركم شوي عن Lixa, كيف كانت التجربة, share our lessons. I will start with an introduction about what is Lixa, how did it all start. After that, I'll talk about how did we transform the idea to reality, and then I'll be sharing some hacks to raise funds. من بعدها, Adam will take over, diving deeper into the tech side of the presentation. So كيف بلشت؟ بلشت صراحة when we were I realized انه في gap بالmarket for internal online marketplace applications for different stakeholders, for whether it's a user, merchant, ولا driver, في gap in terms of what is the value that they are getting from those applications. As you know, هالأيام we are more and more depending on technology to make our lives easier. فالديماند عم بيزيد يعني كيف العالم ممكن تستخدم الاونلاين ماركت بليس ابلكيشن لحتى تسهل حياتها. This demand is increasing بوقت انه what's available in the market ما عم يقدر يلبي هذه الحاجات. And this is where we thought that alright في هيدا الجاب let's do it. هذه كانت نقطة البداية. I had no experience in building such startups before. We just started وبلشت the journey with all its ups and downs, sleepless nights, doubts, problems, issues, happy moments, achievements. This is all part of the journey until we reach today. اليوم نحن we are a recently launched online marketplace application that does food and grocery delivery Beirut. So start with a problem, not a product. بلش من مشكله موجوده بالماركت وبدك تحلها. ما تبلش من انه انا بعرف ابني chatbot using AI, so I want to do a company that does a chatbot. أنا بنيت a certain system, and that's why I want to build a company based on that. I know how to build that. لا، بلش من مشكلة موجودة بالماركت أنت شايفها أو أنت شايف فيها and you want to solve that. هيدي المشكلة حتتطور مع الوقت. Along the way you will find other ways to solve other issues. بتكبر definitely هذا الشيء رح يصير. بس you started from somewhere solid. You started from somewhere you are solving an issue, and this is هذه الوجهة اللي بدها تكون موجودة, and this is what's driving you. هذا the fuel that is driving you along the way لحتى تتخطى كل المشاكل يلي that you will face. ما ضروري تكون عم تخترع البارود، تخترع والله تكنولوجي مش صايرة بالدنيا، وهذه هي very simple solution that saves users time. مستعد اليوزر يدفع مصاري لحتى يشتريها. This is enough for you to start. Ask yourself the questions. Is this needed in the market? هل اليوزر عنده هالمشكلة ما عم يقدر يحلها؟ هل حيدفع مصاري لحتى ياخذها؟ If it's a yes, go ahead. Definitely as a startup بالأول رح يكون في lack of experience، رح يكون في lack of maybe مش كل السكيلز موجودة to make it work من البداية. So your first version of the product you want to build will be ugly, but ship it anyway. نزلوها, gather some feedback. You need to gather as much feedback as possible من the first version that you did. ما ضروري to keep on building, keep on coding, you don't share it with anyone else until it is perfect. ما في شيء اسمه perfect. رح تضل في امور بدك تحسنها. وانت بمحل you need to gather. يعني بدك حدا تقعد معه يقول لك انه لا you need to think of the things in another way. So expect your first version to have a lot of big gaps. Take the comments and the feedback حتى لو كانت negative بصدر رحب. The better your next iteration will be. قد ما كنت قوي بالكودينج you need a team to build the company. You started from somewhere seeing a problem that you are trying to resolve, بس بدك حدا تاني يكون موجود معك يقدر يشوف الماركت بغير طريقة, to give insights in another way, to help you in understanding the market needs and giving you different perspective for what you are trying to build. So it's very important. It's very important to not build alone. Build a team. هلا this team راح يفوت على a long journey which is full of ups and downs. بدك team يكون معك بالمشاكل اللي رح تجي. You will face a lot of issues. You will face رح توصل لمحلات where the probability انه تنجح الامور and things are not looking good. It's يعني في مشاكل كتير. So you need people who will stay with you in those times. هذا الteam that you need to build. Look for people who believe in the project like you believe in it. If you have that, this will help you a lot achieve the success. If you have someone who's in it for the short term, does not believe in the project like you do, حتى لو كان هذا شخص عنده كتير skills قوية. Well, they're very good in coding this in this language, but if they do not believe in the project, they ما حيقدروا يضاينوا ويخوضوا كل المعركة والمشاكل اللي رح تيجي سوا. So build a team that believes in this project like you do. كذا حدا عم يفكر فيها. You'll support each other because you need constructive feedback. You need to support الشخص اللي معك, and give them the trust that they need so that they can become a better version of themselves. فهيدي المقاربة as a teamwork will help you make it. أنت رح تغلط, اللي معك رح يغلط, support each other, iterate. Along the way you will become better, and the vision that you have, you will do. Remember that tech is a tool, but it's not the product. Meaning that the product that you are trying, the reason we started this project is to solve a problem. هيدي الوجهة اللي موجودة. Do not force certain technologies into your product بس منشان هيدي technology جديدة it's trending. إذا اليوزر ما قدر يعمل sign up على application, التكنولوجي اللي زدتها ما لها عازة. So you have a main goal you would like to achieve, focus on that, achieve that. Along the way, هيطلع كتير technologies, هيطلع كتير tools that you تخليك to use. If it serves your main purpose, go ahead. If not, focus on the first milestone you are trying to achieve. Once you build a product which serves the purpose, يعني هيدا الvalue اللي عم تقدم بالmarket, after you achieve that, then you build on it. You build other features. هيدا actually something that an issue that we faced. At some point, okay, we were building the online marketplace, the flow, the main flow, put the user to do an order. Again, it's not as simple as that. There's a lot of other factors. But at some point, شفنا alright, كثير عم يطلع new technologies, AI assistant, and several other technologies, and this shifted our attention to incorporate those things. بوقت اللي نحن the main flow ما كنا يعني the main value we are trying to provide in the market was not achieved. So هذا شيء أخذ من وقتنا وجهدنا ومن money. It was not the right time to do it. If you're a coder, developer, and you want to build your business, building your business هي مرحلة, هي journey طويلة where you will wear a lot of hats. Definitely you will have to take on different roles. اليوم بتكون coder, بكرة بتكون you are pitching in front of investors, اللي بعده بتكون customer support, اللي بعده بتكون marketing. You will wear a lot of hats. You're a startup, ما عندك المصاري الكافي to build a team وتجيب حدا مختص بكل شغلة. هذا الشيء غير حقيقي. It's not realistic to expect that. You need to know that as a startup, people do not see what you see. أقرب الناس لك ما خص يعني put the emotions aside. People do not see your vision. حتكون محلات. Everybody is doubting what you are doing. You are risking everything. You're putting all of your time, all of your efforts, all of your money on this project. وأنا عم يقول لك شو عم تعمل. This is where أنت الفيجن اللي شايفها. This is where it comes. So along the way, you will wear different hats, and you need to be a learner. تكون شخص بيتعلم. تعلم تعمل presentation for the investor tomorrow. تتعلم كيف operations بيكون. So that until you reach a point where, alright, people actually started seeing something شوي gradually, you'll attract more people. Other than that, you have to wear several hats in the beginning. وآخر شيء بدي أقوله in this part is that there is no defined steps معروفة بتمشوها. خدوا هذه الريسيبي الحقوها you will become successful. لا, بدك تفوت بالمشاكل. You need to go into to start the journey, go through the ups and downs. The first step is the most difficult to do. Do not overthink it. Take the first step. بتكونوا قطعتوا already نص المشوار. Start coding, start failing, and start learning. Second part, I'll be talking about some hacks to attract funding, to get funding. بمجالنا in softwares, if you are looking to do a business related to softwares, you will need funding. Usually, you will need funding. This type of business يتطلب at some point to get funding. This is a challenging part for a lot of startups, but it can be very easy. I'll be sharing some of the hacks. So first, join an accelerator. Accelerator هي شركة شغلتها to accelerate the growth of startups. They put you on the path, they equip you with all the tools, they give you the learning, بيحطوا لك البزنس بلان، بيسألوك الأسئلة اللي يمكن أنت كنت تخاف تسألها لحالك. They share the risks of the market. بيحطوا لك financial study، تعرف أنت قد إيه بدك مصاري وقد إيه وين رايح، what to expect. They make you look shiny. They connect you with investors. So investors trust accelerators. Investors, if you come through an accelerator, you have credibility already. موثوق فيكم. So هلا accelerator أكيد بياخد شيء بالمقابل. They take, some of them take equity, some of them take fixed fees. But I think it's worth it. I think they do accelerate growth in a great way. Number two, sell your vision, not the product. When you talk, when you present in front of an investor, they're here to invest in your idea and in the team behind the idea. Do not ما تكون فكرة إنه بدي يكون عندي demonstration رهيبة أنا ورجيه إياها ورجيه product جاهز. That's not what they are looking for, and that's not realistic. You need the money to build that. So when you بس يكون في a pitch for investment, focus on the idea. If it's good, if it's attractive, that's all you need. Number three, master the founder loop. يعني create networking with founders of different startups. Usually founders of startups who have made it, because they have already connection with a lot of investors. If you know a founder, always support the startup of that founder. At some point, once you need the support, you need the investment, هذا الشخص already عنده a pool of investors he can connect you with, he can help you with them. So you show your support to such startups, they will show their support back. Create FOMO by faking scarcity. ما حدا بيحب to be the first one to invest in something. Everybody wants to invest in the startup which everybody else is looking to invest in. صح؟ بس إنه بدك تبلش. You need to start somewhere. So you need to fake scarcity. And when you walk in and sit with an investor, be there with confidence, be there with confidence and showing them that there are a lot of other investors interested in my startup, and I'm opening the هفتح المجال for investment من هالوقت لهذا الوقت, and already في كذا حدا محتاج. This approach shows confidence. This approach makes them more interested instead of لا بعد ما في حدا ونحن لحالنا هلا. So take the scarcity, take it till you make it. Use non-dilutive money to fuel the fire. A lot of NGOs and different organizations which give funds and grants to startups مقابل ولا شيء. But they just want to support startups. بلبنان في كتير منهم هيدول. There are a lot of programs. Check them and أكيد apply for them following the requirements اللي طلبوه. Those will help you in several ways. إذا investor شاف إنه already في this NGO which has funded and gave grant to a startup, they will feel more confident. this will give you credibility. يعني في checklist بتكون قطعتها مع ال NGO. This will make them feel أكيد you get some money to get started. The angel investor flywheel trick. Once you get your first angel investor, هذا شخص has access to a lot of other people who can be interested in investment. أكيد كل business بيختلف عن الثاني in terms of how many rounds do you need. But once you get the first angel investor, هذا بيكون نقطة to start from him. You can go to other investors to his connections, and finally build in public with strategy. Social media today, everybody's there, everybody's watching. Use that this year. يعني خلي الانفسترز يشوفوا إنه قديش شفافين انتم. You are sharing insights about the path and the new updates in your tech journey. Share those on social media. This will give أريحية, transparency كمان investors. And this is my part. I'll be leaving it now to Adam, CTO of Flixa. We'll dive deeper into the tech side. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming. Thanks Ibrahim. So, I'm a bit nervous, sorry for that. So my name is Adam Kadri, I'm the CTO of Flixa. So today I will tell you a little bit about my journey during building Flixa from start until today. So ما كان الطريق سهل ابدا، في كثير ups and down، واذا نبلش من اول شيء كانت كنت مع ابراهيم قاعدين عم نحكي على الجابس موجود بالماركت للابلكيشن وللدليفري ابلكيشن او الماركت بليس بشكل عام. بعدين حكى لي عنده افكار، انا جاي من باك جراوند موبايل ابلكيشن ديفلوبمنت، عم بحكي كان على الافكار تبعه I got so excited about الايديا اللي عنده. صراحه كان شوي غلط الوقت لانه I got on board right away وقلت له خلص ممكن نبلش، وكنا كثير متحمسين على انه نبلش ابلكيشن لانه كنا كثير فكره كانت سوليد بدراستنا، بس كان كثير صعب البلان بوقت قصير، كان كثير صعب في من طريق المانجمنت للكودينج، طريق المانجمنت للشركه بشكل عام. So the day after اللي بلشنا بالكودينج without any plan, without any مثلا الDB diagram or database كيف حتكون، التكنولوجيا اللي حنستعملها، يعني I got over excited. So بلشنا بالكودينج. I had like a small team at the beginning. So I had a small team at the beginning. وقفنا كل شغل، بلشنا بس بالليكسر وقتها. يوم عن يوم الافكار كانت تطلع اكثر واكثر، من ما في عندنا اي تايب اوف اوكي what we gonna reach. we had definitely the core idea of the application. واشتغلنا، ما كان في اي بلان على ما حكيت، وبعدين بلشنا يوم عن يوم نلاقي مشاكل شوي بالابلكيشن. يعني في كان اول شيء صعوبه انه واحد مثل ما قال ابراهيم انه بده يعمل اكثر من شغله بنفس الوقت، يعني بيكون مره كنت حتى ديفلوبر، مره كنت تستر، مره كنت فاينانشال، مره كنت برودكت اونر. So كان في صعوبة to build the team، يعني the right position the right person بالبداية، بس أي ستارت اب is normal بتبلش بهالطريقة. مع الوقت بلشنا نفهم أكثر إنه لازم نكبر التيم أكثر، we need يعني he believed in me I believed in him، بس نفس الوقت نحن ما ممكن كل شيء يصير لحالنا. So as like a coder أو حتى إذا كان back end أو front end بدك كمان أو بتكون كمان يكون في testers، بيكون في product owner، حدا يفكر باللوجيك تبع الابلكيشن. يعني الايديا دائما مهمه، بس how to apply it, how to make it scalable, how to make it reusable, easy to debug, easy to fix bugs بشكل عام. So مع الوقت اتفقنا نطلع بس بالV1 بما انه يعني وصلنا لمرحله فيها كثير منيحه، بس الاخطاء الكبيره اللي كانت هي less experience على such a big application. بنفس الوقت البلان ما كان كثير solid، يعني كان مثلا اليوم انا بتفرج على الدوكيومنتيشن القديم اللي كنا نعمله، انه شيء بيتغير يوم عن يوم طريقه البلانينج، طريقه التفكير. مع الوقت الواحد بصير اكثر بيتعلم انه لا هي الشغله لازم ما لازم تكون هيك، لازم تكون بهالطريقه، فينا نستعمل هي التك، فينا شغلات اصلا ما عملنا ريسيرش عليها بس لانه كنا كثير متحمسين على انه نطلع بالابلكيشن. مع الوقت بعدين صار في كثير افكار، نسينا التارجت تبعنا، نسينا المين تارجت. وقتها وقفنا كل شيء، خلينا نرجع نفكر بالكور فيتشرز للابلكيشن، ركزنا عليهم حتى ولو كان في عندنا غلط بالداتابيس، حتى اذا كان في غلط بالتكنولوجيا عم نستعملها، صلحنا كل الاخطاء، وبنفس الوقت بلشنا نعمل بلان، بروبر بلان للفي 2 اوف ليكسا. الفي 2 اوف ليكسا هو بده يكون خلاصه وقت جهد كثير من شغل اشتغلنا انا وابراهيم والتيم اللي معنا، كرمال بس نوصل لمرحله نوصل فكره ليكسا شو هي، شو السولوشن اللي قدمناه، شو البروبلم ذات وي سولف، بنفس الوقت تكون ايزي تو بيلد اون، لانه اي برنامج ببلش بالعالم فيك تبلش بفكره صغيره واكسباند، يعني انه في كثير كنا بنجي افكار انه بتكون من التيم ولا بتكون من اليوزرز او الاند يوزرز يعني. نحن مثلا بالكود القديم اللي اشتغلنا كنا عم نستعمل او ما حكيت ما في بلان، داتا بيس كانت انه learning by doing، اي شيء نيدد كنا نعمل له كريت بنفس الوقت، ما في باترن معين للستراكشر تبع الابلكيشن، بلس الديفلوبرز ما كانوا believed in the application as much as نحن كنا الفيجن تبعنا كيف على الابلكيشن شايفينه. مع الوقت صار ببلش الديفلوبرز يستخدموا اكثر الابلكيشن، يشوفوا الفيجن تبعنا لانه عم يشوفوا صار ريزولت، يعني اي مايلستون كنا نقطع كنا مثل بالنسبه لنا انجاز، يعني such a big application ونشوف الاوردر بالعالم كان في اوردرز، يعني كان مثل انه انجاز وهيك بنفرح فيها. بس وصلنا لمرحله انه خلص هلا هون نحن حنعمل بلاننج، ورجعنا بالرجوع عملنا proper documentation، عملنا ريسيرش، عملنا اخذنا فيدباك من اليوزرز، بروف اوف كونسبت هي اهم شيء لاي ديفلوبر عم يعمل اي ابلكيشن، مثل ما ابراهيم اطلع بالابلكيشن، get feedback, learn from the feedback، وشوف شو الجاب اللي عندك اياه بالكود او بالتكنولوجيا عم تستعملها. such a big application نحن اليوم مثلا بنستعمل بليكسا 1.0 unstructured او مثل ما بيقولوا monolithic system، ما عندي مايكرو سيرفيسز، ما في كوبرنيتس، بنفس الوقت الفرونت اند بنستعمل رياكت نيتف والكونسولز بنستعمل رياكت جي اس، ما في باترن معين بدنا تو فولو، as I said learning by doing only. بس اليوم الليكسا 2.0 اللي عم نشتغل عليها هي بنستعمل مايكرو سيرفيسز for scalability, easy to handle، بنفس الوقت avoid any crashes. هلا للاسف مثلا اذا كان واحد عم يستعمل مايكرو سيرفيسز بيكون اذا في عندك اي اوفرلود او كراش بالابلكيشن وقتها انه اتس ديد لحد ما يعمل اوتو ريستارت، او حسب السيرفر اللي بتستعمله او انت مانوال بتعمله من عندك. So today we solve these problems microservices كرمال scalability to build on، بنفس الوقت يكون اسرع اذا in case اي نود او اي section من الابلكيشن get crashed تعمل ريستارت اوتوماتيكلي مع الكوبرنيتس وبترجع بتطلع مره ثانيه. So what I want to tell you guys, like as developers, plan. It's very important to plan. Gather feedback. Don't get overexcited. خلي الفكره عندك، ركز دائما بالكور ايديا تبعك الموجوده. زائدا get good team. Try to get them to believe in you. بنفس الوقت انه اطلع بالابلكيشن، خذ فيدباك من العالم، ورجع دائما للاساس تبع الابلكيشن تبعك، ودائما خلي عندك documentation is very important، لانه اي غلط بيصير بالابلكيشن او حتى كديفلوبرز اذا انت كنت مسؤول عن ديفلوبرز بدك ترجع دائما للدوكيومنتيشن از ريفرنس كرمال تقدر تشوف اذا عملت الطريقه الصحيحه ولا الغلط. بنفس الوقت الشيء اللي تعلمته حتى من الجيرني تبعي بليكسا انه لما بدك تعمل اي ابلكيشن بده يكون عندك يعني باشن، يعني تكون عندك صبر. ما في ابلكيشن بيصير بيوم وليله، ما في شركه ستارت اب بيصير بيوم وليله، كثير صعب انك تخلي كل العالم اون بورد لوقت طويل. بس بنفس الوقت if you believe in your idea, if you can sell your vision تنجح. بس بدك يكون عندك عالم صح، عندك باشن صح، بنفس الوقت بدك يكون عندك الصبر مو اكثر. So I think this is it from my end, and please download our application. Try it. It's a 1.0 by the way. It's 2.0 is coming soon. So get.
All right.
I'd like to thank GDG for the continuous support يعني شو عم يقدموا للتك community بلبنان دايما events, networking, learnings. Thank you so much. Keep it up. We are proud to be your partners here and inshallah much more to come. This is our main mission. نحن كمان we would like to support the tech community as much as possible بلبنان. I'd like to thank AUB for hosting us here. This is where my journey started. صراحة I was a student here. For all the students, things may be very مش واضحة كتير هلا بس everything will make sense at the end. And finally, I'd like to thank my beautiful team, Lexa team, for all of the efforts and all of the الجهود اللي حطيتوها صراحة بوقت. It was not easy to believe in this project, but thank you so much for that. Inshallah, much more success to do together. We will have a booth outside. As a بتحبوا pass by, we'll have a chat خبركم أكثر عن الابلكيشن. We have a game also عم نربح coupons. download our special coupon for the event. موجود. Okay, this is the QR code. You can download our application. This is a special coupon code. You can benefit from it. وإذا بدكم بعد come to the booth, play and win. And stay tuned for Lexa 2.0. Thank you everyone.
So here we are with our third talk, and our third talk is with Fadi Jyoti, is the managing partner at Charity & Co. And Charity & Co is one of our sponsors, as well as the other two companies, Dream and Charity Media, that is affiliated to the program. Fadi is one of our partners for this event. There's something that we really appreciate about Mrs. Fadi's talks, that we talk a lot about the software, about the tech, about the IT, and all this stuff, all about the development code, about the development side. However, what about the laws? We as a computer scientists and software engineers, we don't really think about the laws that are related to our field, right? So, however, this is really important. And having the knowledge about the laws that are related to like tech field is it's not only an added value, but as well as power for us, because knowledge is power. So let us learn about the laws that are related to deepfake, AI, and the law, protecting identity in the digital age with society. Stage is yours. Thank you.
في شوية وجوه قديمة, so good to see you again. وفي وجوه جديدة, so nice to meet you. نحن Jyoti & Co. We're an entertainment and technology law firm with a special focus on entrepreneurs and startups. كنتوا عم تحكوا بمحاضرة سابقة حدا زميل هون عم يحكي عن ال AI و how it improved quality and speed. We do support and advocate for responsible use of AI. even بقلب شغلنا أكيد ما بنحكي عليه كليا, بس هذا كثير ساعدنا to support startups نعمل شغل أكثر بوقت أقل بكواليتي أحسن. So مش بس بنحاضر عن التكنولوجي وال AI, we actually live it, we use it, and I think رح تخلق طلب أكثر على الخدمات لكل الشركات, وجزء منها legal services. So نحن ما عندنا خوف من ال AI, we embrace it, I think everybody should. So هيدي بس a general pick up remark على الحديث اللي كان قبل. So اليوم رح نحكي عن deep fake AI and the law protecting the identity in the digital era. بسنة 2000 كنت عم بدرس أنا وشاب صاحبي بوجه المين جيت، كان مستأجر أوضة، وكنا عم نسمع أخبار، وبوقتها كان صعب تعرف الحقيقة بالأخبار، مع إنه الشانلز كانوا كلهم مين ستريم يعني تلفزيون لبنان، فيوتشر إلى آخره. And it was difficult to know that what's happening really. But that was like way far from what we are in now. With the introduction of technology, AI and deepfake, it's a new level. For that, I think it's important that you as developers كمان تعرفوا what you could be walking into. لأنه مثل كثير أشياء في بيت شعر من أيام المتنبي، معلش بسولف شوي أنا. كلما أنبت الله قناة ركب المرء في القناة سنانا. يعني كل مرة بنختار لنا شغلة نستفيد منها ونعمل منها ربح. Deepfake is not an exception. So deepfake could have been a tool to improve creative work and literary work, produce more, faster, better quality إلى آخره. بس already بلشت to be weaponized and تستخدم for illegal purposes. A quick disclaimer، وأنا رح أجرب أصلاً ما أعطي legal advice بمعنى إنه شيء مفصل ومحدد، رح أحكي بشكل عام، بس بليز ما تتكلوا على اللي عم بحكيه بشغلكم الخاص. هذا الشيء بيحميكم وبيحميني كمان. إذا كنتوا بحاجة لأي سؤال تحكوا مع محامي، الأفضل يكون متخصص بهذه المواضيع لحتى to stay on the safe side of things. So مثل ما كنا عم نحكي بهذا المحاضرة رح نجرب نحكي بشكل عام. رح بلش بالديفينيشن تبع deepfake, which is boring, بس لحتى I want to highlight something about definitions. By default, deepfake is not bad. يعني مع إنه some regulatory officials ببعض الدول in defining deepfake, they're kind of mixing up manipulation of data with manipulative acts. يعني manipulation of data مش بالضرورة هي something bad or illegal, but using that manipulated data to manipulate people, that is potentially illegal. بس هو by definition ما في شيء illegal فيه. حتى أنا from an entertainment background أول ما بلش الديب فيك قلت great. يعني توم كروز إذا مش فاضي بعد الشوت أكيد ما بشتغل مع توم كروز. بس إنه إذا ممثل مش فاضي بعد الشوت بعد البرنسبل فوتوغرافي إنه يصور لنا reshoot of certain scenes, we don't need to pay him the extra money to come and reshoot the extra scenes. We could do it through deepfake. إذا بدنا نشتغل بالدعايات والإعلانات إذا منه available ناخذ license منه to use his image. We create a deepfake version of it وبنعمل إعلان. هلا أكيد في السؤال تبع consumers. They have the right to know that this is not the real artist and that this is a deepfake manipulated image. But we can use that for educational purposes. We can use that for awareness. So بعتقد an awareness campaign عليها وجه حدا مشهور محبوب influencer أو politician أو an artist, it will have a better influence than me talking, for example, حتى لو كان deepfake. So there was plenty of ways and still are plenty of ways to benefit from this technology in the right way. So there's a good side to it, but there's a bad and ugly side, and you've already, probably most of you, shared for all the videos of manipulation that was used for illegal purposes. So there was political manipulation of fake speeches. The most famous one, I think, or the most recent, the surrender video of Vladimir Zelensky. So that could not only mislead people, that could shift the balance of war. Sometimes يعني a false flag operation أو كذبة مثل هيدي بأرض المعركة ممكن تغير التاريخ طبعا. بس عم حاول لكم قديش خطرة القصص إذا بدها الناس تشتغل فيها بالطريقة الغلط. كمان صار في سيلبرتي فيس سواب، وانفورشنتلي كمان كان في فيك فيديوز of pornographic nature celebrities. Celebrities, I think they do have the status to defend themselves أكثر من الناس العادية. المشكلة بكرة لما هيدي الأشياء تستهدف الناس العادية. How can you prove that you didn't do something? This should be the default phase of things. Usually إذا ارتكبت شيء فيك تثبته بس ما عملتها غير كلمة إنه مش أنا. يعني it's a lot difficult than صار شيء. It's a lot difficult than يمكن ماشي it's a lot difficult to prove that you didn't do something as opposed that you actually did something. So كمان الvoice عم يستخدم for security breach. It could be a major security breach of data. شو بتعمل هيدي القصص بموضوع التراست بين الناس؟ بكره انت عم تشتغل بشركه كبيره بيتصل فيك مديرك هيدا صوته، او يمكن بيطلع معك فيديو كونفرنس كول هذا وجهه وبيقول لك send me those files، اعطيني the password، it's an emergency. شو معناتها؟ معناتها نحن رح نحط protocols انه بكره we don't do it unless we physically meet the person. Could be, but this could be bad for the economy and bad for the future of business. I'm sure that technology will find a way to cross that. Anyway, so كمان in using deepfakes كعنا layer of legal and ethical challenges. يعني أول شيء الصورة تبع الشخص إنه is it an artwork إنه صورتي هيدي مش أنا اللي اخترعتها أنا خلقت هيك. تنحمل الكوبي رايت. Is it a copyright issue? بس deepfake is a copyright issue لأنه it's a derivative of my image. So هون بيدخل ال privacy law and creating a physical copy of your physical self that is copyrighted. ومن هونيك تنعمل manipulation. So there's a transition between laws. Most of the crimes of relating to deepfake they happen in the digital sphere, so that's kind of by default a cyber crime in many jurisdictions. كمان ممكن تخلق defamation انه سمعة. ببعض الدول defamation is a crime. ببعض الدول it's just civil liability and you have to prove damage. The proof issue. So قلنا victims struggling to say that this thing didn't happen, I didn't do it. Copyright ownership of AI generated content. كمان we have to follow a clear chain of title. If there's approvals من صاحب العلاقة اللي محمي بالprivacy law into and assuming it's the face physical look issue. تاخذ consent تبعه وتخلق a copyright اللي هي الصورة هلا في حدا عم يصورها. So that's copyrighted. Who owns the copyright and who gets the license to create the derivative AI will determine who owns it. But when AI is in between, it becomes a little more complex than just the conventional way. Misinformation. حكينا عنها وحق الناس انها تعرف الحقيقة توصل للمعلومة. وما بعرف إذا وبعتقد في initiatives هلا عم تشتغل على kind of a verified source of information including deepfakes relying on blockchain technology. So there might be I know that it's not practical yet or feasible, but ultimately at some point at least the major media outlets should do that لحتى نعرف إنه their sources are verified and they're difficult to actually imitate or fake. وراح يصير عندنا موجة لها علاقة بالفورنزيك ديماند. يعني بكره كل واحد بيروح على المحكمة وأنا محامي بوعدكم إنه بس شوي تصير popular أكثر هيدي كل واحد بالمحكمة بلبنان كل محامي بيعرف بالديب فيك أو ما بيعرف هيقول له هي مزوره بالاي اي، حيطلب تعيين خبير وحتمد تمد. سو حتخلق كمان بروسيجرال ايشو. اوريدي يعني الدعاوى بتقعد 6 سنين بالمحكمه، توقع وتقعد اكثر. So response to deepfake through legal action في بعض القوانين، وهون ما عم بحكي عن قانون محدد انا ما عم بحكيكم اليوم، لانه بتفرق من محل لمحل، لانه sometimes there are cross territorial issue. يعني حدا بيعمل ديب فيك لإلك وهي شركه موجوده بالنمسا مثلا، وانت سوري عايش بالسعوديه. سو بصير في تنازع قوانين بهذا الخصوص، عم بحكي بشكل عام ولكل مطرح عنده خصوصيته، بس في قوانين الموجوده باوروبا وامريكا تحديدا فيك تطلب تيك داون او removal according to their laws. If that constitutes a criminal action, you could file a criminal complaint, or you can file a complaint to the cyber crimes office bureau, whoever that is. And if you يعني ترتب عليك damages أضرتك ماليا إلى آخره، فيك تطالب بتعويضات. Usually, when deepfake is done for illegal purposes, it taps on three major categories of law: personal data law and privacy, the penal code أو القانون العقوبات العام، وثلاثة هو عادة السايبر كرايم لو، لأنه قلنا كمان سايبر كرايم لوز يعني الايكو سيستم تبعهم هو الايكو سيستم نفسه تبع الديب فيك. بلبنان ما في تطرق بشكل مباشر هو في قانون واحد جامعين فيه كذا شغله، ما في تطرق مباشر لموضوع مسؤوليه الديفلوبرز وموضوع الديب فيك بشكل واضح. هلا القوانين بشكل عام they lack بطبيعه الحال، لانه لتعمل قانون بدك تجمع مجلس نواب، اكيد احنا بلبنان مش اسهل شيء، وبدك تقنعهم انه يعملوا شغلهم، هذا ثاني شيء. واصلا بياخذ كثير وقت تطلع على قوانين ثانيه، تشوف شو المناسب لبلدك. سو دائما القانون is one step behind. اذا بدكم المشكله، بدي شو الجريمه، لا مش دائما بتكون مشكله جريمه. وبلبنان مع الاسف قعدنا شوي لورا، بس مش معناتها انه انتم as developers you're immune. لانه مثلكم مثل غيركم if you're involved ولو مش بشكل مباشر ب illegal actions مسؤوليتكم ممكن تترتب كمحرض instigator. So طلع براسك فكرة إنه I can do through deepfake, I can make money with my friend by creating the deepfakes of our neighbors and blackmail them. مثلا إذا طلعت بهالفكرة الحلوة أنت مسؤول. إذا رفيقك طلع بهالفكرة الحلوة وقال لك بدك تساعدني أنت مسؤول. إذا تدخلت كمان بلش فيها هو ودخلت أنت ساعدته بعدين كمان ممكن تكون مسؤول. إذا ساعدته يحمي الجريمة تبعه، هو عمل مع ديفلوبر شغلة بس طلع هيك لقى إنه إذا بينعمل أوديت فورنزيك أوديت رح يبين، جيت أنت ساعدته قلت له هات هلا I'll do this with the code بخفي لك التريس تبع كل الأشياء اللي عملتها، أنت مسؤول. من هذا المنطلق هلا صعبة اجي اقترح عليكم انه انتم تعرفوا القانون كل الوقت او تكونوا كثير هيك informed about laws. بس generally اذا بدي اعطيكم a piece هيك of advice, if you know it's unethical, it's probably illegal. يعني اذا في شيء حسيته مش اخلاقي من المرجح انه يكون غير قانوني. هلا مش كل شيء غير اخلاقي غير قانوني. والبروفايل تبع الشخص اللي عم تتعامل معه، الهيستوري تبعه، هلا في كثير اكسس لانفورميشن ثرو اوبن سورسز. جربوا عرفوا مع مين عم تشتغلوا، جربوا تعرفوا شو شايلين قبل، في عليهم دعاوى، في عليهم شكاوى، اسالوا اصحابكم اذا شايلين معهم الى اخره. هلا اذا عم تشتغلوا مع reputable companies in reputable jurisdictions it's presumed انه لا الامور احسن. سو اذا عندكم شركه موجوده بالجورسدكشن في law enforcement في قوانين بترعى على الخصوصيه والكوبي رايت والى اخره وهن عايشين هونيك that's an additional reason you can have ومش بالضروره لانه السجون بامريكا مليانه والسجون باوروبا مليانه سو في criminals everywhere بس بالقوانين اللي ما في بالدول اللي ما فيها law enforcement خالص ما بدي اسمي دول هلا فيني احكي عن لبنان لان لبنان ما فيها law enforcement قويه risk is higher انه انت عم تتعاطى مع شخص عم يحاول يعمل شيء غير قانوني او على الطريقه اللبنانيه. سو عرفتوا القانون وامبلمنت كونسنت مثلا يعني بقلب الكود اللي عم تبنوه push to apply the best practices. سو اذا المطلوب الكونسنت لحتى واحد صورته او يوافق انه صورته تتسجل او to be البايومتركس تبعه كمان تنحفظ او to be processed. Follow best practices تبع data and privacy laws. Best practices مش معناتها القانون اللبناني necessarily لانه again when you develop a website or an app it's not confined within the geography of Lebanon أو الاستعمال تبعه unless that's the case. لأنه yes أنت ببلد تاني وممكن ما يكون في مسؤولية عليك بس sometimes بعض هول الجرائم ممكن يكون من صلاحية الانتربول وفي تعاون دولي خصوصا إذا كان يتعلق مثلا بالدراج بالهيومن ترافيكينج أو دراج ديلينج. سو هول الدول بتتعاون مع بعضها وبيسلموا مساجين لبعض. ما بدي خوفكم بس انه ايه اذا ما بننتبه ممكن تفوتوا على شيء بخوف. audit your work وهذا an audit trail كمان بالcommunication مع الكلاينت تبعكم make sure انه كل شيء مسجل انصحوه بالبست براكتسز اذا انتم بتعرفوا شيء غلط ارفضوا انه تعملوه او اطلبوا منه يساوي الشيء اللي عم يطلبه من خلال بديل بتعرفوا انتم انه قانوني وشرعي. That's it. So إذا حدا عنده سؤال اوكي في صبي ورا اخذ سؤال تفضل. I think if we will rely on traditional means to combat forensics and to combat deepfake, we will lag behind and it will be difficult to rely on evidence like that. However, my expectation is that the technology itself will allow us to verify deepfakes very quickly. So it's an issue of technology. أيام حسن أسرع الناس العاطلين أو الناس اللي عم يحاولوا يوقفون. We've been in that before. يعني وقت صار الإنترنت والإلكترونيك إيفيدنس وكل هذه القصة كان في أسئلة من هذا النوع إنه is it sufficient إنه أنا يكون عندي إيميل it's electronic evidence it's a code صح it appears on screen شو بيأكد لي إنه هو صحيح. وهلا صار بينعمل audit وبيبين. However حجم الديب فيكس اللي انا بتوقعه بالحياه واللي حيوصل على المحاكم بتوقع انه لازم يكون في ميكانيزم كثير سريع او انه dismissal of evidence لما يكون مش ضروري نتكل عليه. يعني احيانا اذا عندك evidence ثاني كافي you don't have to go and look into every single piece of evidence. So kind of rationalizing the time spent تبع المحاكم لا ما بعتقد حيبطل evidence حيكون في processes اكثر وممكن بتصور انا الديب فيك يصير regulated industry. يعني اذا بده يكفي كاندستري يصير regulated highly regulated. يعني الشركات اللي بدها او الاشخاص اللي بدها تفوت بهذا الدومين بده يكون في شروط معينه تقنيه وقانونيه عليهم وسم سيفير يعني sentences للناس اللي تخالف او تساعد. تفضل.
هو سؤالي قديش انت بتعتقد انه فينا نوصل لاي مطرح الحاسب؟ اعطي اكزامبل لشيء صار من هلا بالجمعه الثانيه.
ما تعطي اسامي بليز.
جيب لي بياخذ العام بتحول لك الصوره الطبيعيه تبعك لكرتون مكمل كمان. هلا انا انسان حدا كثير جيك طول عمري بنتبه انه احط صورتي على الاي اي حدا من رفقاتي طلع صور مجموعه. اوكي انا واحد من هول بنبل بالصور. بس شو حتتاخذ بعدين تعمل ليرنينج بشركه كبيره مثل اوبن اي اي. طيب بالاوبن اي اي حتعطي الموديل اللي يرجع للعالم. اذا حدا استعمل الموديل وعمل صوره مثلا شبيهه لوجهي واستعملها بطريقه عاطله انا عم بتشك.
اوكي سو عندك كنا حكينا عن تشين اوف تايتل اذا بدك.
بس الفكره انه هي قديش اللوحه انت تتحمل مثلا عايش بلبنان مثلا مين يحاسب؟
طيب هلا ما لك اذا انت بالجورستيكشن اذا اتس افيلبل اونلاين اذا انت البلاتفورم اللي عليها الفيديو او الصوره was made available موجوده بالجورستيكشن فيه enforcement قويه you can actually communicate with them and tell them this is my likeness, I didn't authorize it, remove it. And they will have to remove it. If they don't remove it, they will be liable. So I'm بحكي مثلا copyright millennium act بأمريكا مثل أوروبا. If they don't remove it, they will be liable. بهالوقت هن راح يتصلوا بصاحب البلاتفورم بيقولوا في حدا طلب removal on the basis انه he didn't give his consent to this. Do you have evidence that he actually did? إذا أنت بالterms and conditions اللي معظمنا بنقراهم I have to admit I skimmed through them بس ما بمضي وقتي بقراهم كلهم. هلا it helps me إني محامي so hopefully I hit 80% of شو عم بيقولوا لي. If you've consented, you've consented. هلا if it's being used in a crime, you didn't give your consent for that. طبيعي. بس that won't be the liability of the platform. إذا حدا أساء استخدامها بعدين على البلاتفورم لحتى يشوه لك سمعتك. هلا سو فار ليوناردو وشبيهه اللي بيعملوا يعني صور AI they have strict guidelines on what can be produced. يعني ما فيك تحط كلمات يعني مثلا تحط كلمة porn. You won't get like this is against our policy. So hopefully all the policies اللي الشركات حطتهم will help to narrow down the chances to produce something like that. بس it will depend. يعني ما فيني أعطيك جواب. هون كنت عم لكم انتبهوا I'm not giving you legal advice لأنه the very specifics of every incident and every case determines كثير اشياء بالنسبة لنا. By the way, إذا بدكم تستشيروا AI for legal work, it's better than not asking anyone or not asking a lawyer. It's not great, but it's not bad. And you can cross information between AI platforms. So ممكن تروح على deep fake تسأل سؤال. تروح تفسد عليه عند chat GPT تقول له مضبوط هذا الشيء بيقول لك. So when you cross it مع Gemini, probably you get some level of accuracy. Again, because واحيانا ما بعرف ليش يعملوا ريفرنس لاشياء واحيانا they assume هذا الشيء خطر بعده ب AI. In the future they may become even faster and quicker. بعتقد اتعابنا رح توطى بس الناس حيضل في زبل لها نتيجه لعنا لانه اسرع و we can spot يعني الاخطاء اذا صار. تفضل.
Do you recommend AI lawyer?
عفوا.
Do you recommend using AI lawyer?
شوف أنا I've personally in my startup في أمريكا relied to some level على شيء اسمه rocket lawyer. هلا هول المودلز to a big extent they're compliant. يعني بحطوا لك الستاندرد كذا وبقول لك إذا عندك special provisions اللي هون أنت شو بدك بتحط. و to some extent إذا الموديل تبعه مش قادر يعطيك اللي بدك اياه بينصحوك انه شوف محامي كمان. هلا انا بتجربتي الشخصيه انا not recommending that. اوكي عم بحكي عن تجربتي الشخصيه. it's better than not having than doing it yourself. وأنا محامي على فكرة. So أنا في كثير أشياء روكيت لوير لإلي كمحامي خليني انتبه لها. I use it for very basic stuff. يعني in America I use rocket lawyer for non-disclosure agreements مثلا memorandums of understanding اشياء هيك. تفضل.
أنا عندي سؤال ثاني، إذا الديفلوبر راح عمل بلاتفورم للكلاينت تبعه، الكلاينت راح حط محتوى مثلا محتوى اللي مين بيحاسب الديفلوبر ولا بيحاسب الكلاينت؟
طيب هلا إذا كان الديفلوبر through the coding سمح بهذا الشيء او انه
خليه يحط المحتوى اللي بده اياه.
ايه
وصل لكيسز.
شوف بس اذا ما كان he disregarded مثلا لنقول basic compliance requirements or best practices, he disregarded كل the best practices and disregarding those best practices kind of facilitated that ممكن بس if not لا مش مفروض. بدي بس ارجع على موضوع الاي اي lawyers كمان مثلا وباي ذا واي I tell my clients كمان لانه اليوم it's not ethical اذا في solution للكلاينت انه يخلص شغلته ب5 دقائق وبكوست $30 تيجي انت تروح تدفع $30 وتبيعه اياها ب500 او 1000. So terms and conditions of websites اللي كنا قبل نعمل كثير فيها مصاري هلا في reliable ويب سايت اسمه تيرمي اذا انتم بدكم يو جو سبسكرايب بحطوا لكم بيسالوكم كل الاسئله المطلوبه وبحطوا لكم terms and conditions اكثر من هيك يو باي ليتل مور مش عم بعمل له دعايه باي ذا واي بس لانه بفيدكم وبسهل شغلكم. They update the terms and conditions every time the law gets updated. So هيدا at least ما بقول لكم انه as good as a lawyer بس انه it's way better than not having proper terms and conditions and way better than copying somebody else's terms and conditions.
Can you repeat the name, please?
Termly, I think .io or something like that. Or .ai. Very useful for startups. تفضل. بدي تعلي صوتك شوي لو سمحت.
إذا بدنا نستخلص مثلا نستعمل الويب سايتات هي اوريدي بتعمل هيدي السيرفرز بس مع الويب سايتات تتعرض لداتا بيجز وانا بحط كل شيء عليها للويب سايت. بين اذا بتعامل مع حدا كيف بروفيشنال اوكي يمكن ياخذ اكثر شوي بس انا حدا مثلا بستعمل كلاود سيرفرز بيعمل السيرفرات بستعمل مثلا هوستنج يعني حدا بيعرف الكود بيعرف سايبر سكيورتي بيعرف يعني سكيور كود وهل الفرق يعني فينا نستخلص ونتوقع انه هذه الشركات ممكن تفرق.
يعني هو الكومبلاينس مجموعه اشياء يعني كمان الريسك مانجمنت قصص مجموعه اشياء. الشركه الهيستوري تبع الشركه باي جورسدكشن هي وين حاطه السيرفرات تبعها كمان بدك جورسدكشن بيحمي المعلومات وبيحمي هذا الكلاود سيرفيس بروفايدر مين الى اخره. مجموعه اشياء بس انه اتس اون كيس بير كيس بيسس بتشوف تعمل اسسمنت ريسك اسسمنت تبعك. تفضل.
اوكي عم نشوف هلا شوي هيك وسيله لسه هافلي يوز يعني مثلا عندنا بالنت فيك تفتح حيلا بانك اكونت بوش بنايو تبع عوده بفيديوز وريسنتلي صرنا عم نشوف انه صرت قادر اعمل باسبور 100% لبنانيز امريكان حيلا ناشوناليتي واقدر اكون يعني اوكي بطريقه قادر تو جنريت فيس حيلا فيس حطه على هذا الباسبور فيك credentials فيك نيم فيك انفورميشن واقدر اعمل ابلاي وبلش اعمل ترانزاكشن باسم شخص ما موجود كليا. هلا معقول نوقف نشوف KYC ترجع KYC بقلب البنك على قد بدي ارجع اجيب دوكيومنتس يا اما بده يصير في يمكن ديجيتال سيجنتشرز اكثر في شيء
ما هذا تقريبا اللي كنت عم بحكيه وقت حكينا عن الايفيدنس بالفيديو. اذا المشكله ما انحلت you would expect scrutiny أكثر من البزنسز، لأنه هول البزنسز كمان they're liable لمؤسسات دولية the transactions are on an international level. يعني إذا زعلوا منه للأمريكان اللي بيفرضوا أشياء معينة يقف يطلع برات الشغل. سو مش بس القانون المحلي والقانون الأجنبي، حتى العلاقات التجارية بتفرض عليك level of compliance معين. ممكن جدا اصلا البنوك بلبنان مش بعيد عن هيدا، يعني بدك تمضي. انا لانه انه عايش برا طلبوا مني امضي دستة اوراق، وكل ما بدي اخذ كريدت كارد فيها $200 بدك تمضي 5-6 اوراق. يعني احلى شيء فيهم انه ما بيقرا لك، they don't even هلا هو مش المفروض يقراهم كلهم، لك انت المفروض تقراهم، بس بمطارح ثانيه بيعطيك بريف عن شو هيدا الدوكيومنت. بلبنان بقول لك امضيه هون. ذاتس ات. نصيحتي ما تمضوا شيء بلا ما تقروه، وما تتركوا فراغ بالكعب بيتملى فيه شيء. واشتغلوا مع بنك كويس. طيب، أني سؤال؟ تفضل.
أول شيء thank you for this insightful presentation. You shed the light على أشياء خاصة للأشخاص اللي عندهم AI companies. أنا founder AI actually it's called interview.ai. بس بدي أسألك، ما بعرف إذا بينام صاحب شركة ديفيك، لأنه مسؤولية كبيرة حتى لو عمل الكونتريات، بس مسؤولية مين يعمل لها update؟ إذا مسؤولية اللوير أو مسؤولية بده يكون في كونترا اللي يعمل لها updates؟ لأنه سرعة التكنولوجي كثير سريعة، كل يوم في عندك new thing you have to be updated. So هيدي مسؤولية مين؟ Is it the lawyer أو صاحب الشركة؟
هلا المدير الشركة مش صاحب الشركة بتوقع عليه مسؤولية إذا بياخذ قرارات خارج صلاحيته أو ضمن صلاحيته بس مش لمصلحة الشركة أو بتعرضها للخطر. هون فتنا بالكوربريت لو ومسؤولية الفيديوشري ديوتي تبع المدير الشركة. هلا الهيد اوف ليجل كمان يعني بيكون مسؤول عن شيء من هذا النوع. Usually again, established jurisdictions, compliance requirements are very strict and quite detailed. There are compliance officers, lawyers, head of finance, كل العالم. So it's everybody's responsibilities, but certain people could be liable for that.
بس ما فيك تعمل شيء تكون proactive. أول شيء بده يصير في مشكلة بده ينعمل لها right?
Well, yeah, again, I think it's not that they haven't anticipated the problem or that people will weaponize the trade. It's simply that the time for the laws to get updated, it's too slow. Like even in Europe, it's slow. عندك كل هول الدول، عندك المجالس المحلية وعندك الاتحاد الأوروبي وأمريكا على مستوى الولايات وإلى آخره. يعني لحد هلا ما في تعريف موحد بكذا دولة. بتلاقي كل ولاية عطية تعريف مختلف. وهي مشكلة القانون تاريخيا. يعني maybe at some point in the future with the rise of technology، ما بعرف إذا حدا منكم حاضر لسيلفستر ستالوني Judge Dredd. So he's a robot and he's a judge. مثلا إذا أنت عملت جريمة بالسيتي بيجي لعنا بيقول لك أنت you committed a crime كذا by virtue of this law article this، بشيل فرده بأوصل. That's quick justice. بس إنه do we dare to get there? Do we dare to give AI the discretion and the power to actually execute human beings or try them even? ما بعرف. Again, يعني time will tell. We'll see. طيب أنا بعتقد صار لازم أختم. I want to thank you all so much. Good to see you again للشباب والصبايا اللي رجعت شفتهم و good to see the new faces. أنا موجود هون شي نص ساعة إذا حدا عنده شي سؤال في يحكيني. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Mr. Sadi, for your talk and for your support in sponsoring. I would like to invite everyone for the coffee break. We have around 20 minutes coffee break till 12:20, and then after 12:20, we'll be back here. And make sure to make the most out of coffee break by connecting with our speakers, just like Mr. Sadi and other speakers and sponsors. Thank you. Enjoy your coffee break.